U.S. launches airstrikes against Iranian-backed groups in Syria. From the landing on Mars to the recent attack of the U.S. to Syria, these and other events in your weekly summary of the most relevant news. NASA's Perseverance rover lands on Mars. On February 18th, NASA's Perseverance rover landed successfully on Mars after a journey from Earth of almost 7 months. The rover will collect samples of rock and soil, encase them in tubes, and bring them on returning to Earth in 2030. Perseverance will also study the red planet's geology and test how astronauts on future Mars missions could produce oxygen from CO2 in the atmosphere. Perseverance was launched on July 30, 2020, from Cape Canaveral, Florida. The 1-ton car-sized rover traveled through space enclosing a protective aeroshell, consisting of 2 parts, a conical back shell and a heat shield. Ebola vaccines arrive in Africa. A special plane carrying a consignment of Ebola vaccines has landed in Guinea, which will allow a vaccination campaign on February 23, 2021. A dust storm in the Sahara had forced the aircraft off course. 5 people have recently died in Guinea from Ebola, the first cases in the region for 5 years. Between 2013 and 2016, more than 11,000 people died in the West Africa in the Ebola epidemic, which began in Guinea. In response to that epidemic, vaccines were developed, which have been used successfully to fight outbreaks in the Democratic Republic of Congo. The focus is to vaccinate those who have come into contact with Ebola patients, as well as frontline health workers. U.S. to seek election to United Nations Human Rights Council. Secretary of State Antony Blinken recommended the U.S. to rejoining the United Nations Human Rights Council on Wednesday, 3 years after former President Donald Trump withdrew over what his administration called bias against Israel. After the Trump administration pulled out in 2018, the United States is once again seeking a seat at the UN Human Rights Council. Blinken said the United States was seeking support for its election to the Council for the 2022-2024 term. Elections for 3-year membership on the 47-member Council are due to be held at the UN General Assembly in October.
I'm pleased to announce the United States will seek election to the Human Rights Council for the 2022 to 2024 term. We humbly ask for the support of all UN member states in our bid to return to a seat in this body.
The U.S. launched airstrikes in Syria on Thursday, targeting Iranian-backed militia groups in the first non-offensive military operation carried out by the Biden administration. The Department of Defense alleged the strikes are a response to recent rocket attacks against Americans in Iraq, including one in which a civilian contractor working with American forces was killed and several U.S. service members were injured. Officials believe the February 15 attack in Erbil, Iraq was conducted by Shia militants.
We're confident in the target that we went after. We know what we hit. And we're confident that that target was being used by the same Shia militia that conducted the strikes. I'm really proud of the men and women in our force who carried out the strike. As you would expect, they performed in a very professional manner.
These were the headlines. Remember to follow us on social networks and see you next week.